everyone, and welcome to Break Up with Sugar for Good. I am so excited that you decided to join us tonight. I would love for you to introduce yourself using the chat box. Tell me your name and where you're from. And while you're at it, go ahead and type in any questions that you have. At the end of the webinar, we're going to have a Q&A session, and I'm going to answer all your Qs. So after studying health and nutrition for years, what I have discovered is that you can feel 18 again. You can jump out of bed with vim and vigor each and every morning, no matter what your age. The secret, in my opinion, to youth and vitality is breaking up with sugar. Now, what I would love for you guys to get tonight, no matter where you are in your health journey, is just to see that a small few adjustments can help you achieve optimal health. And from personal experience, breaking up with sugar has completely changed my health. Okie dokie, a little bit about me and my journey. So I've been on a diet pretty much my entire life. You name the diet, I have been on it. Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, the Atkins diet, even the Richard Simmons diet. As a chubby kid, I had a voracious appetite for sweets and fast food. And as you can see from these pictures, I was a little bit overweight, but super, super cute. Now, my dad was in the Army, and so we moved every 3 years. I went to 10 schools, lived in 5 states and 2 countries. I almost forgot where I've been. Traveling the world was such a blessing, but it was also a curse because leaving my friends behind was so incredibly stressful. So what did I do when I ended up in a new town where I didn't know anyone? Well, of course, I would eat. Food became my BFF. So when I was in 6th grade, my favorite family activity happened on Sunday. My parents and I would drive to Burger King and pick up breakfast. We would order French toast sticks with syrup, a bacon, egg, and cheese croissant, hash browns, and a Coke. That was for each of us. My second favorite outing was going to the mall. Not because I enjoyed shopping. I hated shopping because no clothes would fit me. But I loved this magical place called the Cookie Factory. Now, the Cookie Factory had a million different cookies that you could possibly choose from, but here is my favorite, the Double Doozy. It was 2 chocolate chip cookies filled with an inch of icing, and I usually ordered 2 of them. They were delicious. So my weight affected everything around me. Every morning I would wake up and go to the scale, and I would weigh myself to see if I had lost some weight. And every morning I would constantly be disappointed because the number on the scale just wouldn't budge. And then I would go to my mom and say, I have to go on a diet. I have to deprive my calories and I have to exercise more. And then I would get back on the scale and I would feel this wave of disappointment over me. I would even cry some mornings because I wanted that scale to budge so badly. Now, I haven't hung out in a fast food restaurant for about 25 years. But the advice that I received back then is still very similar to the advice that is given out today. If you go to a doctor and ask them, hey, how can I get healthy? How can I lose a little bit of weight? Likely you'll receive the same advice. Restrict your calories, exercise more, and weigh yourself. Friends, if that really worked, we would all be thin and happy. Let me throw some staggering statistics out at you. The CDC reports that 69% of Americans over the age of 20 are overweight. A USDA report shows that Americans spent $54 billion to buy 14 billion gallons of soda. Another USDA study shows that Americans consume between 150 and 170 pounds of sugar per year, per person. Houston, I think we have a problem. So after years of getting on and then getting off the diet train, what I have discovered is that true health starts within your heart. Instead of dieting all those years, what I really needed to do was just love myself and accept myself. I also needed to forgive others and let go of the bitterness and anger that I had by not forgiving. And I needed freedom. I needed freedom from calorie counting. I needed freedom from exercising just for the sole purpose of losing weight. I needed freedom from attaching my self-worth to a number on the scale. You see, I really believe that happiness and health is freedom from the scale. I want you to know something. You are perfect. You are awesome. Right here, right now. Not 10 pounds from now, not 2 pant sizes from now, not when you have $1 million in the bank or land that mind-blowing job, and certainly not when you find the perfect mate. Accept yourself where you are at right this very moment and be happy with who you are. Don't wish you were someone else, or don't wish that you looked like someone else or had something else. It's so incredibly important to love your body, the one that God gave you. Now, I have a tough time with this. So if you're rolling your eyes or saying, Kim, that's really easier said than done, I agree with you. If you're like me, you probably have some crazy negative thoughts that fill your mind during the day. I'll give you some examples of the things that I might say to myself on any given day. Oh my gosh, you're so fat. Oh wow, look at her body. I wish that I had that body. Oh my gosh, that was so stupid. I can't believe you did that. You are never going to achieve your goals. Now, my exterior seems really positive and healthy, but on the inside, I'm going to admit to you guys, I have some garbage going around in my head. So growing up as an overweight kid, my self-esteem really suffered, and my parents fought constantly during my upbringing, which ended up in divorce. But I soaked up all that negative fighting back and forth. I watched my mom stuff her face with sugar every time my parents had a big argument. So I became, as an adult, completely addicted to sugar. So what I want you to know is the negative thoughts in our head become voids of happiness. And so what we do is we seek out pleasure to fill the void. So for me, when I get stressed or upset, immediately my thought goes to, ooh, where's the nearest double doozy that I can get my hands on? But perhaps for you, you come home from a day of work, it wasn't a great day, or maybe you don't like your job, and to relax, you have a couple of glasses of wine. Or maybe on the weekend, you're just a little bored. So you sit in front of the television and you stuff your face with a bag of chips. So when we can heal our past, it really allows us to live in the present, and it also allows us to release the addictions that we have for sweets, for alcohol, for caffeine, and for the processed foods that really put our health in disarray. Now, self-love and forgiveness is not easy, but once I implemented it into my daily routine and my daily schedule, just part of eating healthy, I no longer craved all the sugar. And don't get me wrong, I have a cupcake every once in a while, but the majority of my day, I am not thinking about when I can get my next sugar fix. Now, none of these realizations would have been possible if it weren't for losing my mom. My mom passed away 3 years ago from stage 4 ovarian cancer, and I became her primary caregiver. And it was one of the toughest but most rewarding jobs I've ever had. And my mom was really smart. She decided that she wanted to cure her cancer through conventional and alternative treatments. So she came to me and said, Kim, let's start a new diet. Let's eat lots of vegetables, switch to organic, juice our little butts off, and make green smoothies. And I pretty much thought she was crazy because I didn't want to give up my Diet Coke, my lean cuisines, and my Splenda. But of course, it was much more important for me to support her, and we began to juice, we began to make green smoothies, we began to eat organic produce. We didn't eat any food out of a box or a package, and her immune system soared. She started feeling fantastic even though she was doing chemo. I started feeling better, my energy soared, and she was in remission for about 4 years. Unfortunately, a tragic event happened in my mom's life that created a lot of stress for her. And so her cancer came back, and about a year later, she passed away. I have lost 4 additional family members to cancer and disease since my mom passed away in 2012. In fact, 3 of my family members passed away within 3 weeks of each other last December. Out of the 5 people pictured here, only my aunt and I are still living. After losing my grandfather, my uncle, and my grandmother, y'all, I felt tired. I was exhausted, I was bloated, and I felt so sad and depressed. I was devastated. So of course, I turned to food, specifically sugar, and I binged. My health was a mess. Shortly after the 3 funerals, I came home and I discovered a health and wellness company called Plexus. Plexus offered a product line of supplements that was helping so many people get healthy by stabilizing their blood sugar, healing their gut, and decreasing inflammation. I knew personally that I needed a kickstart to get me out of my funk. So I decided to give the Plexus products a try. They were all plant-based, all natural, and pretty affordable. Within a week of taking Plexus, I felt like a new person. My mood improved, my sadness disappeared, and I didn't feel bloated. In fact, I felt really light, and I could fit into several pairs of jeans that had been sitting in my closet for months. But best of all, my sugar cravings disappeared. I was focused and motivated and ready to take on the world. Once I dramatically decreased the sugar in my diet, my normal self emerged. So maybe you're like me. Maybe you love cookies and cupcakes, or maybe you love bread, tortillas, chips, and pizza. Maybe you like pasta and soda or diet soda. I'm sure you can relate to many of these. And if you are addicted to any of the things I mentioned, then you do need to be concerned about your blood sugar. You see, elevated insulin levels are making Americans sick and fat. And you don't have to be diabetic to experience this. This is relevant to every person on the planet. Blood sugar could be the reason our entire country is experiencing the worst disease epidemic in our history. So to give you an example, the primary function of our endocrine system is to safeguard the transport of sugar throughout the body. I know I'm getting a little sciencey here, but just hang with me. And if it's been a few years since your last biology class, let me just remind you that your endocrine system is the collection of glands that produce hormones, that regulate metabolism, growth, development, tissue function, reproduction, sleep, and mood. Kind of important stuff happening in our endocrine system. So don't miss this important connection. If your blood sugar is unstable, your entire endocrine system will not function properly. That should be a huge motivation to you to get your blood sugar in check, ASAP. So a few of the health problems that you might be developing if you have unstable blood sugar, doesn't have to be high blood sugar, doesn't have to be diabetes, just unstable blood sugar going up and down constantly, really creating a lot of stress on the pancreas. Heart disease, Alzheimer's, cancer, depression, GERD. My dad suffers from GERD, which is severe acid reflux. High cholesterol and triglycerides. PCOS, which is growing at an alarming rate. Poor sleep and insomnia. Thyroid issues, anxiety, cravings, inflammation, chronic fatigue, and adrenal fatigue. So the important question is, how do you know if your blood sugar needs to be improved? So I want you to ask yourself the following questions. Do you have any of these symptoms? And sort of do a mental checklist as we go down the list. Are you tired? Are you irritable? Are you feeling impatient a lot? Or feeling aggravated? Maybe you feel really moody or anxious. Do you have trouble losing weight, even though you feel like you're doing everything right? Do you experience bloating? Do you have cravings for sugar or for salty foods, potatoes, French fries, pizza? Do you have headaches? Do you have any hormonal imbalances or issues with your thyroid? So almost everyone I know has one or more of the above health complaints. In fact, lack of energy is the #1 grievance I hear from my clients over and over again. Perhaps you feel the same way. So it's important to know what foods cause high blood sugar in order for us to improve the diet. Now, there are the usual suspects that you probably are very aware of. White flour is horrible. And white flour is in everything. It's in bread, it's in pizza, it's in burritos, you name it. Enriched whole wheat flour is not much better. It has white flour in it. And a lot of people are tricked by this one. They choose whole wheat over white because they think it's better for you. But you actually need to check the ingredients and the label and just make sure it's not enriched whole wheat flour, because that's really not whole wheat flour. Alcohol can really do a doozy and a number on your blood sugar. After all, most alcohol is just sugar. Most yogurts on the market are not super healthy. A lot of the yogurt brands have artificial sweeteners or added sweeteners. Coffee can spike your blood sugar. A lot of people start their day with coffee, and caffeine actually spikes the blood sugar. Iced tea, orange juice, dried fruits, energy drinks, soda, diet soda, cookies and cupcakes, artificial sweeteners, ice cream. The list can go on, but there are definitely foods that will not help you in stabilizing your blood sugar. And if you start your day with coffee, toast, a bagel, or a croissant, maybe you have a sandwich for lunch, and then you end your day with a glass of red wine, your blood sugar is going to be impacted in a negative way, and so will your endocrine system. And if you don't eat, so maybe you're a meal skipper, that is going to cause your blood sugar to go up and down. And I feel like a lot of women fall into this trap because we were taught to decrease our calories. And so some people actually aren't eating enough and they're not able to lose weight because of their blood sugar issues and because fat will not decrease in the body if you don't give it enough calories. So I love this quote from one of my favorite holistic doctors, Dr. John Douillard. He says, America is in trouble. With 1/3 of the American adult population already pre-diabetic, and experts predicting 100% of adult Americans to be pre-diabetic in the next 10 years, blood sugar is an urgent and insidious issue. Blood sugar issues are the underlying cause of cardiovascular imbalance, determined to be the number one cause of death in America. Today, even health-conscious diets are loaded with hidden sugars, high glycemic loads, processed foods, and folks just aren't aware of the cumulative impact that such difficult to digest foods have on our ability to balance blood sugar. Blood sugar issues, which almost always start in childhood, like they definitely did for me, are linked to most of the chronic and inflammatory disease we see wreaking havoc on the adult population today. Unfortunately, according to the latest research, even the slightest elevations in blood sugar are dangerous, and most blood labs don't flag people early enough to catch the risk. So the important thing here is, even if you're not diabetic, even if you get your blood test every year and it comes in normal, but you're still having all of these symptoms, likely your blood sugar is still too high. All right, so what can we do about it? I've given you all sorts of information about how sugar is so damaging to our health. Now we're going to get to the fun part of the presentation, and I'm going to give you 4 easy tips to integrate into your lifestyle so you can break up with sugar for good. So my first tip is to get rid of hidden sources of sugar. Y'all, I am so sorry to say, but the food manufacturers are really tricky. They know how to hide all sorts of stuff and all sorts of products, but then stick a, oh, it's healthy label on the front, and we believe it because some of us are too busy to turn over the package and look at what's actually in there. So all of these foods, whole grain breads, salad dressings, soups, whole wheat breads, marinades, yogurts, dried fruits, protein bars, frozen dinners, bottled teas, cereals, ketchup, condiments, mixed drinks, any sauce that you buy from the store, trail mix, granola bars, protein drinks, health drinks, and smoothies, all can have hidden sources of sugar. So the number one tip I want to give you is to make sure you are reading the labels of all of these products that you are buying on a weekly or monthly basis. And don't forget all of the white flour offenders, the white bread, the white pasta, the potatoes, the white rice. They may not have added sugar, but they're just as addictive. And as most of you probably know, sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. So when we eat something that spikes our blood sugar, whether it's bread or a cupcake, that sends a signal to our brain to spit out dopamine, and that makes us happy, and that makes us want more and more and more. All right, so that's the first thing that you need to do. The second tip is to know sugar by the hidden names. So it's a clever attempt to disguise sugar. Some food manufacturers use fancy names on their labels to mask it. So just know that anytime you see sucrose, galactose, lactose, sorghum syrup, refiner syrup, like syrup and OSE are big ones, barley malt, those are all just sugar. So I don't want you to be overwhelmed and feel like you can never have sugar. That's definitely not what I do. But just make sure when you're turning the product around and reading the label that the sugar isn't the number one ingredient. You know, if it's the last ingredient and it has a little bit of sugar, that's okay. We don't want to be legalistic. We don't want to deprive ourselves. But for the majority of the time, and I use the 80%, 20% rule, 80% of the time I really stay away from sugar, and that allows my brain to reboot and not spit out dopamine and crave and crave and crave nonstop all of the sugar. Okay? All right, number 3, I want you to improve your primary food. So how you live plays a much larger role in your health than most people realize. Being dissatisfied in a relationship, having inappropriate exercise, so maybe too much exercise, too little exercise, or maybe even the wrong type of exercise, being bored, being super stressed out, lacking a spiritual practice, those can all contribute to emotional eating. So having a sweet craving and eating sugar can often be used as a substitution for entertainment or to fill a void. And what it all boils down to is this concept called primary food. And this is everything that feeds you, but it does not come on a plate that you eat. Primary food is your relationships, your career, your spirituality, and your movement. So everything you eat is really secondary to this. Because guess what? It doesn't matter how much kale and quinoa you eat. If your primary food areas aren't healthy and balanced, you're not going to achieve your health goals. How many times have you been at home with a pint of ice cream, stuffing yourself with this secondary food when all you really wanted was a hug or a nourishing conversation that would have truly fed you? Sugar cravings can often be a direct result of lacking sweetness elsewhere in your life. So the number one way I use to understand and deconstruct my cravings is really asking myself some questions. And eventually these become pretty quick in your head. What am I really hungry for? Will this sugar or bread or pasta give me the nourishment that I really crave? Is this worth the crash that I'm going to feel later? And one of my favorites, is there a better choice? Could I eat a banana instead of this big cupcake? So consider these questions, making it less about willpower and more about a choice and doing what's best for you in that very moment. It will help you bring awareness to what's going on, and it can help you make the best choice for you. All right, so are you guys excited for the 4th and final step? This is my most favorite. It's get nutritional support. And this is what helped me break up with sugar permanently. So we all know that kicking the sugar habit is tough. If it wasn't tough, then all of us wouldn't be addicted. So when starting out, you might feel a little moody, tired, and just plain miserable when you take sugar out of your diet. And there's a reason for this, okay? It's because you're lacking the neurotransmitter boosts you're used to getting from sugary foods, i.e. dopamine. So the solution is to balance your brain chemistry to help even out your moods and your cravings. And supplements come in super handy here. So deficiencies in vitamins and minerals can also make your body seek balance and thus crave sugar. So I really recommend you take a multivitamin, a probiotic, and I'll give you some other examples of some of the supplements that I take, because given our levels of stress, toxicity in the environment, and our suboptimal diets for years and years and years, even if you're eating great now, we can get huge benefits from taking good quality supplements. So personally, I use the Plexus Triplex. These 3 supplements work together to improve blood sugar, heal the gut, and to decrease inflammation, which are the 3 issues that I believe are causing most Americans poor health. The Plexus products are all natural, they're gluten-free, and they're vegan. There's no artificial sweeteners or chemicals. I'm really picky about what I put in my body. So the supplements I take, I'm personally really picky in particular about them as well. The first supplement that I would recommend for anybody that has any food addiction is the pink drink. And this is a plant-based supplement that helps keep blood sugar, cholesterol, and lipids at healthy levels. It stabilizes the body's system so that nutrients are better absorbed, and it also helps regulate hormones, because once your blood sugar is regulated, then your hormones will regulate as well. It's super easy to take, which is probably why it's the most popular product in Plexus. All you do is pour the powder into 12 to 16 ounces of water. You shake it, and then you drink it in the morning. It tastes like Kool-Aid. It's so delicious. It's sweetened with stevia, which is made from a plant, and it's pink because of beetroot extract, which is non-GMO. The main ingredient is chromium, which is a mineral that most Americans are totally deficient in. And chromium is awesome because it helps decrease cravings for caffeine and sugar, and it also helps build muscle. So when you're building muscle, you're getting rid of fat, and pretty much all my clients want to get rid of a little bit of fat. Slim also contains alpha lipoic acid, which reduces inflammation and fights cancer cells, which I love. My mom took a lot of supplements with alpha lipoic acid during her cancer journey. So the second Plexus supplement I take is the ProBio 5, and you're probably on a probiotic. It's pretty common knowledge that we need a probiotic. But all probiotics are not created equally. And believe me, I have tried all of them. And only the ProBio 5 has really made a difference in the way I feel. Previous to ProBio 5, I tried all these probiotics, but I didn't feel any differently. And with ProBio 5, I feel very different. I feel awesome, actually. So this product features 5 extra strength probiotics. It has enzymes. It has intestinal floral, B6, and grapeseed extract, all of which support the breaking down of hostile organisms that negatively impact your health. So think no more bloating, goodbye brain fog, no more fatigue and anxiety. The ProBio 5 will actually repopulate the colon with good bacteria, and it will kill off any yeast and fungus, giving you instant energy and vitality. I mean, this sucker has enzymes that surround the yeast and fungus, and then boom, the grapeseed extract comes in and kills those yeast. This is important because the fungus and candida in your gut plays a huge role in your cravings for sugar and refined carbs like bread and bagels and croissants. So the third product that I use in my sugar busting system is BioCleanse. And this product oxygenates and energizes your body while detoxifying and cleansing wastes, pathogens, and plaque in the intestines, arteries, and blood. It's super gentle. The main ingredient is magnesium, which is a mineral that 90% of Americans are deficient in. I like to call the BioCleanse the garbage collector, because the ProBio 5 will get rid of all the yeast and toxins, and then the BioCleanse will collect all of that stuff and make sure you get rid of it so that you don't feel puffy, bloated, tired, and forgetful. And let's be honest here, magnesium is wonderful because it helps you poop. All right, I want you to have a bowel movement every single day. If you're not having a bowel movement every day, then you are constipated, and that is a big issue. So utilizing BioCleanse can help you get regular if you're not already, but it also is very de-stressing. Magnesium relaxes the body as well. So I love that because I tend to be stressed out sometimes with my busy schedule. So I was really skeptical of Plexus when I was first introduced to it. I didn't want to try another weight loss product. And one of my biggest concerns was, would the Plexus products even work for me? I have been on a diet my entire life. I've tried everything from diets to supplements, and nothing had worked long term. So Plexus, in addition to a healthy diet and lifestyle, has really, really worked for me long term. I've been taking it for over a year and a half, and it's worked for thousands of other people. I would like you to meet 3 friends of mine that I especially appreciate because they have all struggled with the same issues that I have struggled with. And this is Callie. And Callie is a holistic health coach. And she says that a year ago, when she made the decision to become a Plexus ambassador, it was one of the best decisions she'd ever made. She really has a calling to help people get their health back. And Plexus has changed her life because she is no longer a sugar addict. So she's just like me and had a really hard time with sweets. She also has tons and tons of energy. Her gut health is improved and her hormones are much more in balance. And she too got her happy back. And the thing I love most about recommending Plexus for my health coaching clients is that it helps them stick to my healthy recommendations and they can stick to healthy habits a lot easier. Next, we have Melanie, and this is for any moms that might be listening in. Melanie started Plexus a few months after her son was born. And the first thing she noticed was huge amounts of energy and much more restful sleep. Sleep is a really big issue in America, and lack of sleep and insomnia is contributing to the obesity epidemic and the decrease in our immune system. So if you get sick really often, if you're always tired, if you're like a walking zombie, you really need to take something to help with your sleep. And Plexus is a perfect natural solution. So Melanie felt like she could handle things without crying or feeling overwhelmed because she suffered with postpartum and she had a lot of anxiety. She was 6 weeks into Plexus and got off all of her antidepressants, and that makes me really happy when people can get off of medication. She's decreased her sugar cravings by at least 75%. Her allergies are better. She has energy all day long without jitters because there's no caffeine in the pink drink, the ProBio, or the Bio Cleanse. And she also has energy left over at the end of the day so she can hang out and be happy with her family. I know so many people that come home from work and they just pass out because they're so exhausted. Oh, and P.S., she's lost 26 pounds. So I'm so proud of Melanie. Last but not least, we have Julie, and she's a marathon runner. She's so cute. She says, I started taking a natural plant-based product called Plexus in October, and although I didn't have much weight to lose, I needed to transform myself from the inside out. Marathon runners are supposed to be the epitome of health, right? Well, not when our bodies can't function properly. I'm getting healthy from the inside out. I have lost 8 pounds. I am off all anti-inflammatory meds. Again, that makes me so happy. And my digestive system is functioning properly. I feel awesome. So the important thing to know about Plexus is it really is for everyone, whether you're underweight, a normal weight, or overweight. The Plexus Triplex will help balance out the body. And if you need to lose some weight, it will help you do that. If you need to gain some weight, it'll help you do that. It naturally detoxifies your body and brings you into balance. No diets, no shakes, no calorie deprivation, none of the stuff that I had to endure as a child that really attacked my mental attitude about getting on the scale. So you don't have to weigh yourself. You just take the products, you're able to eat healthier, and that will lead to you being able to fit in a smaller pair of jeans or having more energy or being able to spend time with your family without being moody at the end of the day. Whew, we have covered a lot of information in this webinar, and I really appreciate you guys sticking through it and understanding truly why sugar is so detrimental to our health. I want to give you the opportunity to sign up as a Plexus ambassador in the next 2 hours and receive a whole lot of goodies from me. And the reason I want you to do this in the next 2 hours is because I want you to put yourself first. You are worthy of making an investment in yourself so you can start a healthy journey. As a Plexus ambassador, all that means is that you get wholesale pricing on my health system supplements, and that includes the Plexus Slim, the ProBio, and the Bio Cleanse. In addition, just for the next 2 hours, because I'm feeling really giving, I will give you access to me as your health coach for 1 month via my private Freedom from the Scale Facebook forum. I'm also going to give you my very popular 30-day meal plan. You are going to love this because I am not a chef, y'all. I am not a chef. I like simple. I like easy. And my recipes, like the easy egg muffins that you can just make in 20 minutes and then have for the rest of the week to eat as a breakfast or a snack. My butternut squash tacos, y'all, they're so good. And the healthy nachos are really delicious because who doesn't love nachos? And those are all free of sugar and completely healthy. I'll also give you free access to my 10-day detox, which starts on June 22nd. Let me tell you about the detox a little bit because it's super important. This is an opportunity for you to go 10 days without sugar, caffeine, alcohol, and processed foods. And let me tell you how you're going to be successful, because you're going to be in a group with hundreds of people that are doing it with you. And together we are stronger than just ourselves alone. So I am going to be there to give you motivation, to give you encouragement, and to give you the opportunity to finally reach your health goal off any longer. So again, the special offer only lasts for the next 2 hours. We will send out an email after the webinar to give you step-by-step instructions to take advantage of this. The value of the meal plan, the 10-day detox, the supplements, me as your health coach is over $595. But for the next 2 hours, you're going to get everything for just $145. And I promise you that this $145 investment is worth it for you to be able to change your health. So let me just break it down. My bye-bye sugar system, the Plexus membership in order to get the wholesale prices is $34.95. And the 3 products are $109.95, and that equals almost $145. The triplex includes my favorite 3 Plexus products, 30-day supply, high quality, plant-based, gluten-free, vegan. There's no crap in these supplements. I would not do that to you guys. So I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts as we close before we take some questions. I want to encourage you to take care of your body. It is the only place you have to live in. And I recently read a quote in Oprah magazine. She said this: "Your primary job is to take care of yourself. You have got to decide to make your health and well-being your priority. Otherwise, you run out of oxygen. You become deflated. You become weakened. And you lose the will to keep going. Here is what I know for sure. Being well is a decision. Living well is a bonus. Breathe into this moment consciously with gratitude. You must be well in order to sustain doing well and helping others. Get the being right, and the living well will follow." So I encourage you guys to come on over to the private Facebook forum. We're going to have so much fun. I'll be there cheering you on, making sure you are successful in your health journey. Maybe you're like me and you have been on and off the diet train all your life. Today is your lucky day. You can end it right here. You can achieve freedom from the scale, and I am going to show you how, and I'm going to encourage you. And even when you have bad days, I will be there to offer you motivation, because guess what? it isn't an easy process to begin a healthy journey. It's going to be full of ups and downs, good days and bad. So it's really to your benefit to have a health coach and a community of other like-minded people to be there right with you. All right, with that, we are going to go through some questions from the chat box that you guys typed in. So the first question is, do you recommend certain breads, flours, rice for a newbie trying to switch from the white stuff? Oh my gosh, that is an awesome question. Yes, I do. So if you're trying to get off the white stuff, the two things that I highly recommend you integrate into your diet are quinoa and brown rice. They're both really easy and they're both really delicious. So you can make quinoa in about 10 minutes. Just boil some water, throw in some quinoa. I also add some organic chicken stock or some organic veggie stock, some salt and pepper, and maybe some seasonings, and that makes it taste really delicious. And then you can chop up a bunch of vegetables and put it in the quinoa. You can also do the same thing to brown rice. Brown rice takes about 30 minutes. And you can make a whole big, huge batch on Sundays, which is what I do. And brown rice is super cheap, so it's very budget friendly. From a bread standpoint, what I recommend is that you spend some time at some of the natural grocery stores, so natural grocers, maybe Sprouts or Whole Foods, and find a bread that doesn't have processed wheat and flour in it. So you want to make sure it's whole grain. You want to make sure there's no enriched wheat included in the ingredients. Food for Life is a great brand. Anything that says sprouted is going to be super beneficial because it's not going to have the chemicals and it's not going to have the processes. So hopefully that is helpful to you. It is completely possible to switch to healthy grains these days because so many people are having issues with the gluten grains, which contains the wheat. So there's a plethora of options out there, which is really, really great. But you might be overwhelmed by the choices. So sometimes it's not so great, but really read those ingredients and that will help you immensely. And I always recommend starting with quinoa and with brown rice. All right, another question is Plexus safe for kids or teens? I always recommend checking with your doctor before starting any supplement routine. 99.9% of doctors look at the Plexus ingredients and totally approve them. When it comes to kids, I do have several customers and clients and friends that are giving these products to their kids, and their kids are thriving. Specifically, kids with attention deficit disorder and kids that are lacking energy, kids that are constipated, take the probiotic. A lot of people put the Probio 5, they sprinkle it in with maybe some organic juice in the morning for their kids. And the pink drink, a lot of parents that I know will do half of a pink drink and mix it up and give it to their kids to start with. And my best friend actually has a child with cerebral palsy, and she is stuck in a wheelchair. And she used to have a lot of seizures and a lot of issues with constipation. And since putting her on these Plexus products, she is no longer constipated and she hasn't had any seizures. So there's a lot of amazing testimonies for both young kids and for teens that struggle with migraines, energy, attention deficit disorders that have really found a lot of success with Plexus because it gets to the root issue of why the kids are having the issues, and that is blood sugar, gut health, and inflammation. Usually one of those three issues is behind the problems that most kids are experiencing today. So, excellent question. All right, another question is, what do you recommend when a bad craving hits? And did you cut it out gradually or all at once? So that's a great question. When a craving hits me, I will typically try to do something else. You know, I'll go for a walk, I'll call a friend, I'll journal, I pray. Another thing that I do that's really, really effective is I drink a bunch of water. Like I chug 20 ounces of water. Another thing that I do is I take a pink drink. I mix it up. Maybe I've had a pink drink in the morning and I'm just having a bad day and I'm craving sugar like crazy. I mix up a pink drink, and because it's sweet, because it tastes kind of like Kool-Aid with the stevia, it really satisfies. So there's a lot of different things that you can do, but what I recommend is you go try to do something else. Talk to somebody, write, just distract yourself, drink water, and wait. Because the longer you wait, the likely the craving is to go away. And I did go cold turkey in terms of breaking up with sugar, but the only way I was able to do that was with the Plexus products. I had tried to go cold turkey previously, like all the time. You know, it was a constant struggle for me, even in my adult life. Even becoming a health coach, I still struggled. So I wasn't able to go cold turkey with the sugar until I started doing the pink drink, the probiotic, and the bio cleanse. But I'm not 100% sugar free. For me personally, whenever I deprive or say, no, you can't have that, I just want it more. So I do allow myself to indulge. When I'm on vacation, I eat whatever the heck I want. And 80% of the time, I really try not to eat sugar. And then I'll go have some ice cream with my husband or something because he loves ice cream. So I really would encourage you to maybe do a 10-day detox to start, add in the Plexus products, and then just slowly integrate sugar just a little bit here and there. And you just have to monitor yourself, because sometimes just a little bit can set us over the edge. So that is different for everybody. And just give yourself a lot of love and a lot of grace, and try a few different things. I think what's worked for most people is getting on the Plexus as a kickstart and doing the 10-day detox. Those are my two most successful ways of really breaking up with sugar for good. Another question is couscous okay? Depends on the couscous. Most couscous has gluten in it. And is white flour based. So I would stay away from the couscous and add in quinoa or add in brown rice, or look for a whole grain product that is gluten-free. And there might be some couscous products out there that are gluten-free. You just have to read the label. But in general, I'm not a huge couscous fan. You know, if you're not eating it every day, it may or may not make a substantial difference. But if it is something that you're doing every single day, I would recommend going towards some of the other gluten-free grains first. All right, the next question is, my kids hate green smoothies. Do you have a recipe that is healthy but not green? Yes, I have tons and tons of smoothie recipes on my website. And just the easy way to make your kids drink smoothies with greens is to add in blueberries. So it doesn't matter how many greens you add into your smoothie. If you add blueberries, the smoothie will be purple. There's just no way around it, because blueberries make every single smoothie purple. So hopefully your kids like blueberries, and you can just add the blueberries and then add the greens and just tell them it's a blueberry berry smoothie. And don't even tell them that the greens are in there. But if the color green is a little bit off-putting to kids, and I gotta tell you, some adults freak out when they see green smoothies and anything green. All you have to do is add some strawberries, add some blueberries. And I like berries because they're lower on the glycemic index. They don't affect our blood sugar like a higher glycemic fruit might, like mangoes or pineapple. Those are going to elevate the blood sugar a little bit more. And berries are full of antioxidants. So my fix to any green smoothie, if you don't like the look of it, is to just add a bunch of blueberries, and even some strawberries will make it pink. Although I will tell you, strawberries don't always cover up all the green, but blueberries definitely do. So hopefully that is super helpful. And I'm a big smoothie lover. I'm a big juice lover. So you can go to my website, kimwilsonpollock.com, and click on my blog tab. And then on the side, click on recipes. And you'll see a bunch of juicing and smoothie recipes that you can utilize. You can customize them any way that you want to. You can omit any ingredient that you want. It's really easy to customize smoothies because there's so many ingredients in there that usually when you take one out, it won't affect the taste that badly. So, all right. Well, that is all the questions we have for this evening. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you spending the time to focus on your health, to put yourself first. And I really do believe that breaking up with sugar will change your life. So don't forget, we have the 2-hour offer. Sign up as a Plexus ambassador, get some fantastic supplements at wholesale price, get me as your health coach, your motivator, your cheerleader, get the 10-day detox completely free, and get a 30-day meal plan that is going to blow your mind. I can't wait to see you in the Facebook forum, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you all.